Clinton and Gore together again. The former Vice President Al Gore, seldom seen with the Clintons, making his campaign debut with Hillary Clinton today in the swing state of Florida. Even though as they rallied a crowd to talk about climate change, which of course is near and dear to Al Gore's heart, the Clinton campaign was forced to deal with the latest fallout from Wikileaks' new release of the stolen emails from her staff. Jessica Schneider is out front.
Hillary Clinton's team had hoped this would be its memorable moment on the trail today. A Clinton and a Gore on stage in Florida, the old band back together. Instead, Clinton's campaign found itself fighting allegations and responding to the release of thousands of private emails sent to and from its chair, John Podesta, that were hacked and published by Wikileaks. Today, a new cache of those emails appeared to show conversations and what opponents call collusion between the campaign and the Department of Justice. In one email, Clinton's press secretary, Brian Fallon, a former DOJ spokesman, appears to receive and pass along information from his contacts at the Justice Department about a court brief related to Clinton's emails that had just been filed. This exchange did not pertain to the FBI investigation into Clinton's private server, but rather a lawsuit to make those emails public. The campaign pointed out the filings were public record and stressed that the hacks are illegal. But today, Donald Trump tweeted, "I hope people are looking at the disgraceful behavior of Hillary Clinton as exposed by WikiLeaks. She is unfit to run." Tonight, as Clinton's opponents sift through thousands of hacked emails, Clinton's campaign is using Al Gore to sell the idea that every vote counts.
Take it from me, it was a very close election. Elections have consequences. Your vote counts. Your vote has consequences. I offer my concession.
The Sunshine State ended Gore's presidential aspirations in 2000 when the Supreme Court halted a recount, leaving him 537 votes shy of beating Bush. Since then, he's made preaching against climate change his mission, an issue Clinton's team believes could help motivate millennials.
We cannot risk putting a climate denier in the White House.
And the Clinton campaign is taking nothing for granted tonight. As his former running mate and his wife stumped in Miami, Bill Clinton was also on the trail at a voter registration event. And it turns out Florida voters now have an extra day to register to vote. The deadline was extended from today to Wednesday at 5 p.m. per court order because of Hurricane Matthew. But Aaron, Clinton's camp still fighting in court to get that deadline extended even further.
All right. Thank you very much, Jessica. Panel back with me. I want to talk about these WikiLeaks emails because they're very important. Mark, though, first, Al Gore.
How strange,
Al Gore's
right?
been in the witness protection program.
Right,
okay?
right.
And he came out today. So is he going to be effective?
Well, he came out today. Let us note that it was Al Gore who didn't want Bill Clinton to go campaign on his behalf in 2000, and had Bill Clinton actually gone and campaigned on his behalf in 2000,
he might have won.
Al Gore probably would have won, right, and would have become president. Look, is he going to be effective with millennials, which they were talking about today? Probably unlikely, because a lot of people don't remember him. But what he will be effective with is with the base, who is very concerned and interested in climate change. And there is a large part of the Democratic Party, Democratic base, that are actually clued into the idea of climate change and the destruction that it causes. And I do think he could help there.
So he's trying to win. This is millennials.
Well, they talk about millennials because they say the millennials love the environment. I really think that he's better for the base, like in general. Right. I think he's a better base player.
Well, that's I
wouldn't agree. I mean, I actually think, you go out and talk to millennials, they really do care about the environment. They're watching the cataclysmic storms, all the flooding we've had this year alone.
But
they see it, they believe it. Yeah, he's like Papa Smurf of, the climate change conversation. I mean, he is the...
For our generation, though, but not for like 19-year-olds.
I mean, that's look, all the millennials I've talked to, they,
You're
really...
Number
one. And number two, he also is, look, all these voters, older or younger, who are thinking of voting third party, he is a really important warning sign to them. Look what can happen. We wouldn't have had an Iraq war. We wouldn't have had the recession.
Okay. I want to talk about WikiLeaks because there are some important things in here. Let's start here with an email Brian Fallon sent, who is, of course, a former Justice Department employee and now Clinton spokesman. So obviously was in both of those roles at different times. Last year, while working for Clinton, he wrote an email about the investigation saying, DOJ folks informed me there is a status hearing in this case this morning so we could have a window into the judge's thinking about this proposed production schedule as quickly as today. Corey, Donald Trump's campaign says this is showing collusion between the Clinton campaign and the Department of Justice. Obviously, this information that he was referring to was publicly available, but you think That there's more to it?
Okay, I think what this is once again, you get the cozy Washington relationship that you get inside information, you're sharing that with your friends, and there are two sets of rules. There's a set of rules for everybody out there who's doing their job every day, and then there's a set of rules for the political elites. And what you have is you got Brian Fallon, who had information from the Justice Department that is shared with the campaign. You've also got emails from Doug Bann, who's the head of the Clinton Foundation, making pejorative statements about Chelsea Clinton, which has not been raised, how she potentially was about to drive someone to committing suicide, according to the emails, which we've now seen that no one's talking about. We see the inner workings of the real Clinton world, and Chelsea Clinton, what we saw in the emails that were released today, was her concern about the closeness of the foundation and the State Department and the people who are using their experience and their relationships to profit off of the Clintons.
So I just want to be clear, and the email that you're referring to, Doug Band, Clinton aide, did refer to Chelsea Clinton as a spoiled brat. But on the suicide part, I just want to be clear. He said, talking about one of the chiefs of the foundation, she called me to tell me the stress of all this office crap with WJC, Bill Clinton, and CVC, Chelsea Clinton, as well as that of her family, had driven her to the edge. So it was a much broader and more nuanced point that was being made here.
It goes on and says she's sitting at the edge of the water with a foot on the gas pedal, deciding whether or not to drive in. That's what the full email says. Let me read you exactly what it says.
It does say that.
Please don't edit it, because you need to go and read the whole thing. So it's not that this is just a hypothetical.
I don't think that's a direct blame of Chelsea Clinton. I don't think
this is Doug Bann. This is Doug Bann, and here's what he says. He says, Doug Bann dismissed Chelsea as an entitled and power-hungry young woman who wreaked havoc at the Clinton Foundation, who created a stressful environment that contributed to one person contemplating suicide simply because she was bored and protective of her relationship with her father.
So let us just say this, right? And look, obviously these emails are terrible for the Clintons.
Yes.
It does show a coziness. Corey's absolutely right. This is someone's assessment of someone's mental state who's not a professional. I just think we've got to be careful about whether somebody was on the edge of suicide or whatnot, because that could be career debilitating. So we just have to be careful about that. I know it was there, but
let me read another email. Let me read another email. This is another one from the campaign chairman, John Podesta, and he's talking about a speech with Hillary Clinton. Sally, he says, I know she has begun to hate everyday Americans, but I think we should use it once the first time she says I'm running for president, because you and everyday Americans need a champion. I think if she doesn't say it once, people will notice and say we false started in Iowa. Now, it appears from this he's talking about the phrase itself, that she should use the phrase everyday Americans as opposed to everyday Americans. That appears to be very clear. Nonetheless, though, because of the deplorables comment that she made, could this be something that could be turned against her?
Look, I think we can all agree that Hillary Clinton and everyone who knows her and is associated with her should just stop using email, right? They should go to courier pigeons or telepathy, I don't know what, but smoke, anything, just not use email anymore. Clearly this is not good. Look, I find some of these emails disturbing and bothersome, but it also is, look, having known people on the Bernie campaign, having had exchanges with them directly, this is unfortunately the ugly sausage making of politics, and we all know that political operatives aren't often nice, don't mince their words. I don't mince my words enough in my emails, and maybe I should be more careful, because maybe the Russians are going to hack me next. But they aren't hacking my email next. They're not hacking Trump's campaign email. They're not hacking Bernie's. They could. They're hacking Hillary's, and they're releasing these now, less than a month before Election Day, for a reason, because they want to hurt her campaign and presumably help Donald Trump. So we do have to look at the context in which these emails are being hacked and leaked. It is.
And Corey, a quick final word to you. Should Trump, though, also be saying that this is wrong, that this is happening?
Look,
because this is a foreign government trying to interfere in our
number one,
in our elections.
The State Department says it's probably the Russians, but we don't absolutely unequivocally know that. But number two, what we know is
the White House says it's the Russians.
Looking at the inner workings of what is taking place, we have seen time and time again that there are two separate rules: one for the political elites and one for the rest of the world. And what we also saw was that the campaign manager said we should try and conflate the Benghazi issue with another issue in a focus group so that we can confuse the people. This is what the plan has always been, because they knew there were going to be problems with these emails, and that's why they don't want to be talking about it.
I mean, one set of rules would be like your
politics are on all sides. Wow. All right, thanks to all. Next, Donald Trump's long history of objectifying his daughter. And breaking news, Billy Bush about to pay a very heavy price for his role in the Donald Trump videotape. We have now that news for you. The question is whether Trump will pay as well.